What's good, y'all? Justin here. Welcome to Tech with That Tech Pastor podcast. We're looking at tech, the intersection of tech, church, life, all that type of stuff. And today, I like doing things to talk about like the future and trends and 5 things to be aware of and things of that nature. And so today I wanted to talk about 3 things to me that I think are important to engage, because we're introducing AI to everything, whether it's our jobs, our homes, our churches. And I think we have to remember that technology doesn't change who we are. It reveals who we're already becoming, that AI is a mirror of who we already are. And so as I've been thinking through this, I think there are 3 things I think we need to be aware of and to think through together as it relates to what the future may look like, what our possibilities may look like, and what God might be calling us to do. So this moment for me is us becoming human again. And there's 3 things that we can look at today. So we're going to talk about soft skills. We're going to talk about everyone becoming agent bosses and why AI is actually exposing the cracks in education and forcing us to redesign how we do things. So welcome to Tech with That Tech Pastor, where I'm not going to hype you up. I'm not giving you a bunch of lame, empty stuff. I want to prepare you for a world to leave a legacy and hopefully understand that humanity is vital. So be human. All right. Like and follow, subscribe, all that crazy stuff, and let's have some fun. Let's take a deep breath. Let's be grounded today. All right. Welcome to Tech with That Tech Pastor. So there's 3 things. The first one I want to talk through today is about soft skills. So soft skills to me are, I think, vital. And soft skills really are not soft skills, really, to me, human skills. And human skills in that way, I think, raise a couple of questions for us. I think the chat GPT and Claude and all these new things are giving us access to data all the time. And everybody's being commoditized, if you will, that if you have a chat GPT account, you have access to all this new knowledge. Everybody's writing perfectly. Everybody's got the perfect sentences. Everybody that used to go to school for years to get some information, get it overnight. And I think AI is making production and output just cheap. And the biggest challenge is not doing the work, right? The biggest challenge now is knowing whether or not what we're getting is high quality work. And so I think the rise is going to be the rise of intangibles. So in this environment that we're entering into, I think buyers are shifting their priorities where they're prioritizing intangibles. I think if you're hiring, I think you need to prioritize a couple things. Number one, taste, discernment, and judgment. If you watch the output of dozens of stuff, like dozens of crap out there, AI slop, slop is writing, slop is these videos, slop is some of the things that people are producing. It's prioritizing people who now have great judgment over what they do and judgment over what they say. And these are the qualities I think we should have. So that's where emotional intelligence is going to be just as important as regular intelligence, because how you handle yourself in a room after you write the thing on ChatGPT is going to be vital. So your EQ is going to be critical, because once perhaps what we call the soft skills, to me they're human skills, communication, empathy, trust, creativity, and taste are going to be the most valuable skills in this era, because it's one thing to be able to use AI. It's another thing to be actually able to still sell the business that you're using. So if all you have are technical skills in a closed room, and if you can't talk to people without a phone, if you can't talk to people without a computer, if you want to work with people, that's going to be valuable. You can talk, that's valuable. So I think here's the person. I think the what I've been telling people, to my clients, is the equity is going to be the trusted generalist, right? The person who is able to build trust and has knowledge of their client's business. These trusted generalist partners, if you will, are going to be the orchestrators or the general contractors for organizations. I think instead of having salespersons, it's trusted generalist partners, not to execute every task, but to know what's going on and to be able to communicate that task out. That's the ability to be the air traffic controller, if you will, in this era where everybody is smart. The ones who can talk about it without having a computer in front of them are the brilliant ones. So I think that's the focus. Be human again and focus on human intangibles, and we'll shift away from billable hours to just discovery, because everybody can get it. But if you have a conversation, now you're going to be valuable. So learn how to talk again, learn how to engage again, because results, everybody's producing results. But the ones who can talk about the results and be human in the process are the ones that would be really, really premium. So that's number one. Soft skills are valuable. Number 2, to me, is the rise of the agent boss. So I think everyone's going to move from doer to directors. I think everyone's going to become an agent boss. So if you are working in an office and all you're doing is using ChatGPT or Claude or something, here's what I think you need to learn how to master: becoming a boss of a bunch of agents. So it used to be we started off with large language models, and it was just you using something small, knowing how to steward it, XYZ. Now I think more organizations are going to have small teams with a lot of AI agents working for them, agent swarms, if you will. And swarms are like thousands of agents working for you at once. Now, this structure to me is going to be the norm soon. Whether it's an agent, you're part of a smaller firm or a larger firm, it's been something that's discussed. But Microsoft called it the agent boss, and this they suggested it's going to usher in this era of what we call the manager nerd, the person who's able to manage a fleet of AI agents and orchestrate them. Instead of traditional employees, people become leaders of armies of AI agents that can run a million scenarios at once to make sure we get the one that actually works. So we don't have to take as many risks. The risk was building the agent. And so we see startups, I think, that are going to emerge with one or two leaders with a bunch of agents doing the work. So that's why new management skills, I think, are going to be required. This isn't about technical prompting, it's about being managers in AI. And that is, you have to learn, number one, how to give specific instructions in prompting, set clear expectations for people, give examples of what good looks like, edit and evaluate work. So, for example, managing an AI intern to draft product requirements based on human guidance, right? So, the shift to agent bosses for me is so fundamental because it's going to cause an organizational confusion. So, companies that are trying to determine whether or not these digital employees are worth it or should be involved. For example, I've seen companies that have managed to really redo their entire HR departments and tech departments to really see how can we make sure that these agents are going to be employees at our company that we don't have to pay for. That's new digital employees, which means what you learn and your skill set has to change. So agents are not just an IT thing. Agents are going to be something that we outsource to settle the future. So an agent boss model to me is the third phase of what Microsoft called their frontier firm. They're human-led, agent-operated people. Because success in the future is not going to come from performing tasks manually. It's going to come from orchestrating automated intelligence to achieve outcomes faster and at lower costs. Lastly, so I told you guys about soft skills, I told you guys about agent bosses. So let's talk about education and traditional credentials. So I've gone to school. I've got multiple degrees from some of the top institutions in this country. That's not tooting my own horn. I worked really hard for the degrees I have. And now AI is unraveling all of this. AI is forcing education to do what I think it needed to do for a long time, and that's evaluate itself. The advent of new tools has made people look at, like, why are we judging people based upon their ability to write? That's it. Have you ever noticed that so many of these degrees are just like right? So now the academic underpinning has been all about how much you can write and how much can you be a high achiever to get A's. And some commentators are arguing that these credentials are worthless. In this great inflation right now, that most college graduates are graduating and they're functionally illiterate because AI is just exposing that all you needed to do in school was write. So if I tell chat to write it as a doctorate level, I'm making a doctorate level research done in a second. And it's making these degrees worthless because universities are no longer the place of rigorous academic study, but it's a place that I got to attend to just get a degree to get to a job where now, your master's getting an entry level job. So I think students have recognized this shift and they've mastered it. And many assignments now are just irrelevant, right? They're hackable by AI. And one student even said in a study, he said that they use AI to breeze through Ivy Leagues with minimal effort. When asked what the trouble they went through to even get into it, I read this here. This student said the purpose was just to meet a co-founder and a future spouse. He didn't really go to school to get the degree. He's going to school to find a co-founder for a business he was already building. So AI did his work while he just found a wife and co-founder. This pressure for school, I think, needs to be looked at, because not only are we telling these students to go to school and graduate and get these jobs, but AI is eating away at entry level work. The bottom rung of white collar work, including research summaries and reports and PowerPoint presentations, is now done by artificial intelligence. It's done faster and cheaper and 24/7 by AI. And consequently, so many recent college graduates are performing worse in the job market because they went to school and breezed through it with ChatGPT and Claude. This has diminished the return on investment for college, and graduates are drowning in debt, and debt stemming from a college having warped economics that don't suit the world. So why am I going to go to school for this? So I think there has to be a redesign for school. The action for me is not to ban AI. It's not to even police it even more. It's to redesign education fundamentally. If students can cheat through their classes using artificial intelligence, I think we got to redesign our classes. We got to make people do what I talked about earlier, soft skills, manage agent bosses, prompt better, because this stuff is not going anywhere. We saw the same thing with the internet first came out, where there's a transition from handwriting to typing. And now we're seeing the transition from typing to having typing done for you. What does the future look like? What's old is new. How do we adjust to the calculator? Figure that out yourself. Black pastor, and you're looking for a GPT that is catered to you to help you craft sermons and do pastoral care and do work. Well, I got made one for you. It's called Pastor GPT, and it's made for Black pastors and Black church leaders by a Black pastor. And here you have formative ways to engage with your preaching, your teaching, your pastoral care, all for Black congregations, Black people, and Black pastors. Now, anybody can use it, but it's crafted especially for Black people to have a space to do their own thing and to engage holistically as Black individuals. So please go to pastorgpt.co and take a look at it. There's subscription models. There's a free model where you get 5 conversations a month. There's a first tier where you get 50 conversations a month, and a second tier where you get up to 150 conversations a month. Take a look, try it out. The goal of it is to give Black pastors and church leaders a space to bleed Black pastors and church leaders. I look forward to engaging with you in what Pastor GPT can do for you, for your future, for our churches, and for all the gospel. So for me, I think the thread running through everything we're talking about is the future is asking for better humans, not better tools. AI is fast, but we are people who have taste and discernment and understand the future and understand that leadership is still something you learn. Talking to people is still something you learn. So education's shifting, life is shifting, but your wisdom is what matters the most. So if you've been listening closely, the main thing you've heard for everything I'm saying is this: grow your judgment, strengthen your relationships, and build the kind of identity that AI cannot duplicate. You don't need to master every single tool you encounter to thrive. You need to master who you're becoming as you learn these tools. So that's what I want to leave you with today. That's Tech Without Tech Pastor. You're not waiting for the next update. You can care less what news drops. You're saying, I'm going to be a human. I'm going to make sure that if I do use AI, I'm going to be an agent boss. And if I'm in school, I'm not just going to make students right. And if I'm a student, I'm going to breeze through this, but be ready to make sure that I can manage at the next level. That's what's going to keep you awake and aware. All right, I'm the Tech Pastor giving you the business for your business. This was a session that I just wanted to jump into. Get yourself together. Be human, and the future's waiting for you. All right, like and subscribe for more. I'll see you soon. God bless you.